So today we're going to be speaking about C-suite positions in the company. So one of the questions that was asked is the president the same as a CEO? So we're going to walk through a few C-level titles and what that means to the company. And you're going to see this, especially with big companies, right? As a small construction company, it's not as common, except we're going to speak to that about the value and importance of leadership teams, how that plays in with C-suite roles. So very often you see a CFO, right? Your chief financial officer, CMO, maybe your chief marketing officer, CEO, the executive officer, COO, operations. You may have HR, so you're going to have your chief, human resources officer. Could have a CLO, your chief legal officer. And this will position down, right? As it all depends on how big and diverse the company is. And you're going to have these different titles, which is essentially called your C-suite or your board. Those that are making decisions in their departments and then meeting together regularly with the leadership team. Now, the president owner, sometimes the ownership company may not even have any of these roles, right? The owner could own the company, but maybe not be involved in the day-to-day, or they could be involved in the vision and growth of the company. And they're going to have, their CEO and COO and CFO making those decisions pretty regularly, and then seeing from afar. Smaller companies, it's pretty common that president or owner role may be acting as a CEO. They may not go by the CEO title, but maybe they're going as owner operator or president. And then they have some other members giving them counsel. Now, what's really important, we're going to come back to this CFO and like a controller and how the financial aspect works in the company. It's really important though, no matter how big your company is. We mentioned some of the C-suite levels. That's going to happen with a big firm that has the financial wherewithal to, hire these positions. And of course, how that extrapolates down through the company. If you're a small company, small business owner, it doesn't matter if you're 3 employees or 35. In that range, you want to make sure that you're meeting as a leadership team. And this is something I learned through our SWOT, which was our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I had my Builder 20 come in. We did a SWOT with AFT and myself. And part of this SWOT was that, hey, Brad, you're essentially operating as a CEO, president, making decisions. However, you have some really good directors that need to be on board, or essentially, operating officers that need to be counseling with you from a financial, a legal, and an operations side. And fortunately, as a company, we're 23 employees, so we're fairly decent size as a builder. And we have those positions, right? We have someone over the accounting department, we have someone over the legal team, or essentially all the business operation aspect, from IT to legal to contracts, insurance, and all the operational side. And then we have a director on the construction side, pre-con, actual field construction and then warranty. And so putting together this leadership team was really key in meeting with them, because there's a lot of insight and value that they bring, and ideas and comments and perspective that they have from the day-to-day nuance and challenges and issues they're having in their department or with their team. And now collectively as a leadership team, essentially that's the board meeting. You're figuring out, okay, as a company, what's the direction? Where do we want to go? Growth, right? Sales, revenue, and also performance, right? How are we performing? What systems do we need to implement? Do we need to change software, technology? We're in the process of doing that from accounting, is saying, okay, do we need to streamline some things? Because this has, been a challenge to making sure that everyone's paid in a timely manner, super quick. How can we expedite this so that we can get invoices in, get those to our clients, get those to whether the clients are paying cash or there's banks involved, get that funded, get our trades paid, and get this moving very quickly. Now, when you think about the controller CFO, there's a few different options there. A really big company is going to have a CFO, and a CFO role is an executive position, which means you're typically going to be paying that position $150K or more. It's typically a pretty big salary for a CFO. The CFO is not just a day-to-day AR, AP, accounts receivable, accounts payable. The whole goal of someone in the CFO role is they're forecasting, right? They're doing analysis, they're doing projections. They're actually, when you think of it as sales, they're trying to buy better. They're trying to create efficiencies in the company. They're working with some of the manufacturers and suppliers to figure out, can we purchase at a better rate? Can we bring down expenses? So they're really looking at the health of the company and overseeing a lot more, almost like a CPA. They may have, most big companies will still have a CPA and a tax firm that's working with them and counseling for tax law, making sure that they're doing everything, not only that's important for the IRS and taxes, but also forecasting to understand how are we projecting based on our budgets? How are we projecting year to year? And that's where the CFO is really strong. And a controller is typically overseeing the accounting department. So they may not be doing as much forecasting or money strategies, but they're overseeing really the day-to-day of your AP and AR, making sure that you're getting all your bills, collecting, and that you're paying out. And so they're overseeing the efficiencies, the software, and all those systems. We're going to speak a little bit more about how you can still have the benefit of CFO without paying that 150 grand or 200 grand, sometimes a lot more if you're a small company just like us. So again, little breakdown of C-suite. The most important thing to take from here is that as your company grows, make sure that you have a leadership team you meet regularly so that you have this feedback and insight. And there is a lot of value to job titles. You can search one of our earlier videos about job titles and how that does give value to the employee to feel ownership, in their day-to-day role.